Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Boudoir. I am your host, Aisha Jones. And can I just say that you guys are amazing because I asked you, I begged, I asked if we could get to 200 subscribers for my birthday, and we absolutely did that. And I am so happy and thankful that you guys came through for me. Thank you so much. I promise we are going to make even better, more thought-provoking, more heartfelt episodes in the future. So thank you so much for sticking with me. And I appreciate you all so much. In the spirit of it still being my birth week in true Leo fashion, of course, we can't just have one day. We got to have the whole month, the whole day, the whole year, the whole 9 yards, you know? But seriously though, in the spirit of me turning 27, I thought it would be fun for me to take a look back at all of my 20s, and I kind of just took a deep sigh right there because like when I think about like the evolution of me in the beginning of my 20s to now, it's just so crazy. I've gone through so many different transformations, and I still have 3 years left to see what's going on, what's happening. First of all, I'm so grateful to be 27. I'm always so grateful for another birthday, another trip around the sun, but it's just always nice to look back and reminisce on some of the things and some of the lessons that I've picked up along the way. And hopefully these resonate with you guys, whether you're not in your 20s, if you're older than that, if you're younger than that. Hopefully these are just some universal messages that we could all hear from time to time, and I thought I'd share them with you guys. So without further ado, this is going to be 26 things I learned in 26 years. Number 1. Being different is a superpower. I put this at number 1 because, as I've talked about on this channel in previous podcast episodes, I've always been the different one. When everybody's over here, I'm always a little left. I'm always a little, I walk to the beat of my own drum. I like to do my own thing. For the longest time, I've had such a difficulty accepting that I just do things differently, and that's totally fine. Like, I used to just feel so othered, and I'd be like, what's wrong with me? And I would question, why do I do things a certain way? Why do I like certain hobbies? Why am I the way I am? Why do I think like I do? And the answer is because you're you. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, you act in a certain way, you act differently from others because you are different from others, and that's okay. And that's actually something I just came to terms with like recently. Like, I've recently accepted the fact that, you know what, it's okay. I don't have to have a whole bunch of people on my side or just echoing something that I've said just to make myself feel better and safe and comfy. Like, I don't need that. And for the longest time, I've been so scared to speak my truth and just be myself completely and just be my authentic self because I always thought, I don't want to rock the boat or anything. Recently I've learned that it's okay to be different, and differences are needed in this world. Like, if we were all the same, it would get real boring real fast. And I've just learned to accept my authenticity and accept that authenticity is the only thing that's going to truly make me happy and feel like I'm living. I've noticed that when I'm stifling my true self, when I'm stifling the things that I like for the sake of upkeeping an image or whatever the case may be, fitting in, it never makes me feel fulfilled. I never feel happy. I always feel depressed. I feel like I'm not being understood or seen, and at this stage of the game in my life, I can't waste another second not being me to my truest authentic form. And if that upsets people, if that makes people uncomfortable, not that I'm doing anything crazy or weird, but people just don't like to see somebody being themselves, and it's not my job to fix feelings, coddle feelings. I don't care anymore. Being different is okay. Being different is a superpower, and while everybody is trying to conform to some image, you can go your own path, and that in itself is a superpower because not many people can do that. Number 2 is taking things personally. And I want to go about this in 2 separate directions. The first way I want to take this is to not take things personally. I, for the longest time, cared so much about what other people thought about me, what I was doing with my life, the type of music I listened to, the places I like to go. I just cared so much about, the sneers, the comments, the underhand, backhanded compliments, whatever. Like, that used to bother me so much and make me so sad because I couldn't understand, like, why can't everybody like me? And it's just not realistic. When people make their little snide remarks, it's because they're miserable with themselves, or they're stifling or projecting onto you. And it's just, I refuse to make that be my responsibility for a second longer in my 20s and beyond. I refuse to take anything personally. If you have a problem with what I'm wearing, that's you problem. It really is. Like, it has nothing to do with me. And that brings me to the second way that I wanted to talk about this is knowing when to take things personally, knowing when to understand when somebody doesn't want to hang out with you, knowing when somebody doesn't want to treat you well in a relationship, knowing when you are being given backhanded compliments and people are shading you. Like, knowing when to walk away and knowing when to take things personally is super important. Sometimes you do need to take things personally. Being texted sporadically by somebody who claims to like you is not okay, and you should take that personally. Not in the sense that you're taking ownership over that and you're internalizing it, but you should take it personally. They are personally treating you with disrespect. You should take that personal. There's a difference between internalizing something and making it your personality and feeling shame towards it, and being like, oh, this person is blatantly disrespecting me. This person is blatantly talking behind my back or making little snide remarks. I'm going to take that personally, and I'm going to personally take my exit. That's what I'm talking about. Like, there's two ways to go about it. The first way is you can't let everybody's comments get to you to the point where you're internalizing it. And the other way is sometimes you do got to take things personally so that you know when to bounce when it's necessary, so that you don't get yourself hurt later on. Number 3, this is classic, but we all need to hear this sometimes. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. There were so many times in my little early 20s where I just wanted to believe that this person was the person I imagined them to be, or that I knew that they could be, but they just didn't want that for themselves. And it's like, I'm not going to bob the build anybody. I'm not going to fix her up or anyone. Like, it's just not my responsibility. See, the common theme of a lot of these is like relinquishing responsibility for other people's problems. I was a fixer-upper. I was a people pleaser, as most of us ladies were. We were just socialized through patriarchy to put everybody else's needs before our own. And of course, I've fallen victim to that. So a lot of these have the theme of like, this is not my problem anymore. I don't want to deal with this. So let people talk. Don't create false narratives. Don't doctor these people up into something that you want them to be. Look at the cold hard facts. Look at the truth. Don't let their looks, don't let their charm or whatever sway what's actually being presented in front of you, because that's how a lot of us get messed up. A lot of us, we fall head over heels for people. We see the potential in somebody and it's not actually there. And even if, maybe somebody's just a really good actor and, they happen to just mess up this one time, that's something that you got to take note of. Like, if it starts to become a pattern, you have to know when that's just somebody's personality. It's no longer just an oopsie. It's no longer a mistake. That's just like how they are. Don't forget that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. That's like an old school classic one that our mothers, our grandmothers have been telling us. Number 4, you can do things in your own way. So a lot of us are fed, with this glow up advice, a lot of us are fed like, you must wake up at 5 a.m. You must run 10K miles. You must fetch your eggs from the most purest chickens of the farm. All of these things that they tell you have to do in order to be successful. You can march to the beat of your own drum. You can do it your own way. Like, just because people market something as the best way to do it, maybe that way doesn't work for you. Like, I know for me, I can't be on a tip-top crisp schedule. Like, that doesn't work for my brain. I like to feel like I have freedom in my life. I do like structure. I do like to do things on certain days, but I just can't have my schedule so pinned down to the minute. Like, that makes me feel trapped and anxious and scared. All of that to say, you can do things in your own way. You have to trial and error and figure out what works for you productivity wise. Some people can do the 5 a.m. thing and work out 7 days a week, and that's fine, but everybody is not wired that way. And I don't think they should be made to feel shame for that. I think they need to find what works for them. Because the point is that we're trying to get people to be at their best self. And it's not about shaming somebody for not doing something in the correct, so to speak, way. It should just be about them doing it. So as long as they're doing it, as long as you're doing what you need to do and you feel like you're achieving your goals, just do it in your own way and find what works for you. That is something that truly helped me, because I always felt like there was something wrong with me because, I didn't do things the way everybody else did it. Number 5, you are in control of your own life. Yeah, sadly, nobody is going to come save us, as much as I still am holding out a little bit of hope for somebody to just take all of this away from me. Because trust me, at this point, this economy, take it off my hands, please. But, in seriousness though, you are the one that's in charge of your own life. And if you want those goals met, you are the one that physically has to get up, put the workout shoes on and get your booty in the gym. Like, that's still something that I'm like, wow. I literally have to clean my house every single week. I have to clean the baseboards. I have to clean the windows. Like, nobody is going to do it for you. You're the only one that's going to book that trip. You're the only one that is going to meal prep that food. Like, nobody else can do it for you. You physically have to take the action of doing what you want to do. It's not just about dreaming it and conceptualizing it and manifesting it. You actually have to do it for every aspect of your life. You're in charge of all aspects. And it's scary, but it's also kind of empowering, you know? And that ties into number 6, which is you do not need permission to do anything in life. As a grown adult, you know, we're going from that preteen child phase of having to listen to our parents because we legally had to, but like we didn't have the life skills to make our own decisions. And now we're in this new phase of adulthood where it's like we've been an adult for a couple of years now, but it's like there's still that like, ooh, do I need permission to do this? Do I need to like wait to book that flight? Do I need to wait to do this? And it's like you do not need permission from anybody. You are literally a tax-paying citizen. You pay rent, you pay bills. What do you mean you can't? Like, that's the one thing you do have as an adult is freedom to do whatever you want. You don't need permission from anybody. And I feel like a lot of people are so scared to like take the leap and take the jump because they're waiting for like the okay. Embracing the ability to just get up and do what you want to do really makes your life so much better to live. And it makes it feel like you're not just sitting around and wasting a bunch of time. Because it's like when you're sitting around and you're not actually like getting out and doing something, that's when you have the most time to just sit and think because you're not doing anything else. So it's important to get outside and make sure you're doing stuff. You don't need permission. Number 7, being emotional isn't a bad thing. I used to be one of those people, and I hate to admit it because this is so like, I'm not like other girls, but I used to be one of those people that was like, I don't cry. Like, crying is so stupid. Like, girl, I cry for everything now. I cry when I'm happy, when I'm sad, when I'm mad, when I'm hungry. I love to cry. It's so cathartic. It feels so good. I'm a Scorpio moon and rising. Like, I be feeling my emotions, okay? And it's like not just that. Crying isn't just the only emotion. Like even being mad, being angry, it's okay to be angry. I used to try to hide my feelings because like, oh, I shouldn't be mad. It's not good to be angry. No, sometimes I'd be rageful and I'd be wanting to set this bitch ablaze and with all of us in it. Okay, and that's fine. You're allowed to feel that. Being emotional is okay. It's about what you choose to do with those emotions. And I've learned how to process them and sit with them. And I think that's why I'm so like calm for the most part, because I don't hide from how I feel. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with being very emotional, very sensitive. And I used to try to hide that part of myself for some reason, but now, girl, I'd be in this room crying, and I love crying. Like, I don't even dread when I'm mad or when I'm feeling upset, because I know that the only way through it is to feel it. So if you're just stifling how you feel and you don't truly show how you feel, even if it's with yourself, like if you can't even be honest, you know, feel your feelings with yourself, like you're SOL. So crying is cathartic, being mad is cathartic, be angry, don't take it out on anybody, take some boxing classes or go take a walk or something, but you know, channel it correctly, but don't hide how you feel. Number 8, which ties into number 7, running away from your feelings and running away from the things you know you have to do is only going to make it a million times worse later. So just get it done now. And that is still something I'm learning. I love to procrastinate. It's so enticing to just leave things for the last minute because that rush just feels so nice. I used to do it in high school too with my papers, like wait till 10:30 at night and just the more you try to hide how you feel, the more you try to act like, oh, I'm not bothered, like that doesn't bother me, I'm not upset, like girl, it's gonna be so much worse later. You might as well just feel it now. Stop running from how you feel. Just take the L, take the ownership of the emotion and just feel it. Number 9, something that you have to force is never meant for you. And that goes for multiple areas of life, whether that's in a relationship. If you feel like you have to force somebody to like you, if you feel like you have to force somebody to treat you with respect, to listen to you and to understand you, you lost. You already lost this game. There's no point in playing anymore. Number 10, listening more than you speak can save you in more ways than one. First of all, not only is it just best practice and more demure, Is anybody like, I've been inundated with those demure videos lately and I'm obsessed. Demurtsy and cutesy all the way. But listening more than you speak is very demure. If you actually just stop talking and you listen and you let people talk, they will tell you and reveal so much. If you're trying to get intel, if you're trying to discern and figure out things from people, just let them talk. They'll reveal little things to you that you have to pay attention to. You should be listening twice as much as you speak. Everybody don't do that, but you know. Number 11, speaking up for yourself does not make you a bad person. I used to hate speaking up for myself. Like, I used to hate, like, I was that person. If I didn't like my nails at the nail salon, I would just let them do their thing. Like, I hated speaking up for myself. Now, I literally relish in it. I love speaking up for myself. It makes me feel so good. It makes me feel like I achieved something that day. When I don't speak up for myself and when I know that somebody is like playing in my face and I just go home and I don't do anything about it, that's when I feel like, oh my God, why didn't I say something? I've learned, like, I mean, it's not like I'm out here just picking fights with people, but I've learned to, when I know that I'm being disrespected and I'm being slighted, I will advocate for myself and I will speak up. And most of the time, people don't expect you to speak back, so they will fall in line. Like, I've noticed if you actually give people the same energy that they gave you, they'll be like, ooh, they'll check themselves because they're not expecting that. They're used to people just, you know, not saying anything back to them. But I love speaking up for myself. It's necessary in this life. Like, you cannot be an adult and not know how to speak up for yourself. Number 12, comparison is the thief of joy. This is another one that we all know, but especially with social media and just seeing all these people going on these trips and going here, there, everywhere with their designer clothes, it can be easy to fall into the comparison trap. But comparing yourself to other people, especially when you don't have all of the information on how they achieved what they got, it's not for you to know. You should just, if you find yourself getting jealous of somebody, you should just say, you know what, I'm so happy for them. That means it's also possible for me too. You should learn how to channel those feelings of jealousy and comparison, feeling like, oh, I'm not good enough for this. Why don't I have that? How did they get that? They don't deserve that. Instead of putting that type of energy out there, because what you're saying when you're saying somebody else doesn't deserve it, you're really saying you don't deserve it. Like, you're projecting, because it's like, who's to say they don't deserve it? Who's to say you don't deserve it? Right? Like, nobody is to say that. So why would you say that about another person? What you should say is, I'm so happy for them and I can also achieve that too. Number 13, y'all are gonna love this. Spend the money, go on the trip, eat the dessert, treat yourself to life's experiences. I feel like we get so caught up in, like, you know, oh, I don't want to do this, and like we just feel like everything is on the line. But like, sometimes you just have to live, like, just live in the moment and live life. Like, it's not going to kill you to have an extra slice of cake every now and again. And I always find that the times that, like, maybe I don't have the most disposable income and I still do go out, those nights end up being the best nights and I always have the most fun. Don't be so tight-wadded all the time. Like, sometimes you should treat yourself to certain experiences. Number 14, solitude can be beautiful. I've really come to appreciate my own solitude and my own alone time. It was something that before, when I was younger, I had a lot of trouble with. Like, I hated being alone. I never wanted to. Like, I was always going out. I was always partying. I was always drinking. Like, just always doing something to get me out of here and, like, out of, you know, my feelings, and to just drown out the noise. But I've learned to really embrace being by myself. Like, when I'm alone, that's when I'm the most peaceful. And sometimes I'm like, should I feel this peaceful when I'm alone? Like, is that a bad thing? But I'm like, no, I'm not getting into people's business. I'm not getting into trouble. I'm at home by myself, safe and sound. Like, sometimes I prefer that rather than hearing like all the outside noise. Because, like, one, I don't care. Like, I don't care about what this influencer did, what's going, I don't care about that. And two, like, I just find that I feel my best when I'm in my own energy. Not to say that I don't go out and I don't hang out with people, but if I could choose, I'm always going to choose a night in with some good TV, some good food, and my cat, Evie. Number 15, feeling your feelings isn't scary, it's necessary. And we kind of talked about this earlier, but everyone always says, like, oh, feel your feelings, feel your feelings. And it can be scary sometimes to talk about the things that maybe you've been burying for years and years because you know how it makes you feel and you don't want to relive that experience again. But it's important and it's necessary to be able to take accountability for how you feel about certain things and learning how to deal with it. Because when you don't and you take that unresolved just trauma and messiness and you put it out into the world and you put it onto other people, it's not good. Like, it makes your outlook on life very, very negative. Number 16, your voice matters. I used to feel like nobody wanted to hear me talk, like nobody ever wanted to listen to me. It was so hard to get people to actually be interested in what I wanted to say. And like, first of all, starting this podcast has been great for me because like, this is basically what I do. I love to talk. I talk to myself. I talk out loud. This podcast is basically just me. This is my thoughts. This is my stream of consciousness. Sometimes I do research for these videos, but a lot of the time I'm just talking off the dome and off the heart. And you know what? Darn it, my voice matters. What I have to say matters. Just being socialized as a woman, especially as a Black woman, people make you feel like what you have to say isn't important or it's just minuscule and background noise. But I'm taking my time back. I'm taking my airtime up and y'all are going to listen to me, darn it. And along with that, number 17, you deserve to be seen. I stifled myself a lot in my life, okay? I hid myself, I hid my passions, I hid, my best outfits because I was like, oh, I don't want to be the one that's like standing. Girl, no, I deserve to be seen. I deserve to be seen. I deserve to move around freely in this world, being myself, and I want to be perceived. I used to have so much imposter syndrome, even with just posting YouTube videos. Like back in the day, it was just my fashion and beauty channel, which shameless self plug. If y'all want to go watch that channel, I mean, you can go subscribe too if you want. Yeah, back then when it was just that channel, I used to have so much imposter syndrome and I just felt like I didn't deserve to be seen. I didn't deserve to get views on my videos. And so I feel like I would kind of manifest that. But now I deserve to be seen. Like if I didn't think I deserved to be seen, would I be uploading these videos? So I think the belief has to be there, and it's always, the belief is in there. You just have to feel comfortable wanting that for yourself. Get used to being seen. Number 18, always ask for more. When I was younger, I feel like I was so scared and I would shortchange myself a lot, especially when it comes to jobs, like asking for salaries. I would, be very conservative with what I was asking for because I just wanted them to hire me. And I feel like I've left so much money on the table because of that. And so now that I'm in my influencer career, I'm like, I'm always going to ask for like double than what I think I want, because as a Black woman, we are used to asking for less and just being very conscientious of like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. But I'm tired of that. Like, I'm tired of playing small. I don't believe in playing small because I see so much for myself. And again, when you're first getting into this mindset, it can seem like, ooh, I don't know if I'm like being too full of myself, but it's not even being full of yourself. It's just recognizing your worth and what your work is worth. So don't be afraid to ask for more, even when you're just applying for a job or something. Ask for extra sauce. Ask for extra sauce at Wendy's. Like, always ask for more. Don't be scared, because the worst they can say is no. Or like, sorry, we can't accommodate that, but here's this instead. Like, they might even give you a little something extra. Number 19, slow down. I'm very neurotic, if you can't tell. Maybe I hide it on camera, I don't know, but I'm very neurotic. There's a lot going on in here, and my brain is just always moving like 50 miles a minute. But I'm learning how to slow down and calm my brain and remember that it doesn't always have to be about the bigger picture. Like, sometimes you just have to take life 1 minute at a time. Like, just look at what you're doing and stop worrying so much about the future and just worry about what's actually in front of you and what's tangible to you right now. In this little blip of time, we're always either looking at the past and like, oh, what could we have done? Or looking at the future, like, what should I do? What's going to happen? And we're like scared of something that hasn't even occurred yet. And I've learned that what truly helps is just taking it one little segment at a time. Instead of trying to conquer this whole thing, just take it one little step. Number 20, you can always change your mind. I know in this landscape of the internet and just feeling like everybody's thinking is so binary, like you're either this or you're that, and there's no room for any nuance. I refuse to go down like that. I refuse to have that be our standard of living. You can change your mind. Like, there's been plenty of times, even on this own podcast, where I've had like such staunch views on something, and then I look back and I'm like, I actually couldn't care less about that right now. Like, I actually have no strong opinions on this whatsoever. Like, and that's okay. You are allowed to get new information, process that new information, and filter it through your own beliefs and morals and come up with your own conclusion. That's how it should work. Like, that's how comprehension works. You learn information, you filter it, you do your fact checking and everything, and you come to your own conclusion. Simple. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to, contradict what you said in the past. Unless you were being racist and hurting people and stuff. Like, no, we're not doing that. I'm simply talking about you just had an opinion on something and maybe you got new information, or you just lived some life and you're like, you know what, actually, maybe I see it in a different way now, or I still kind of agree, but I can see it in this other way. You're allowed to do that. Like, people feel like, oh, I said this thing in this one period of time, so this has to be my whole shtick from now on. No, I'm always going to change my mind. Like, I have no problem, one, saying when I'm wrong, or if I just don't believe that anymore and I believe something else. Like, why is it embarrassing to have new information and change your mind after that? Like, I don't know why that's so, like, scary, but no, you can always change your mind. Number 21, don't let the world make you cynical. And this is difficult because I feel like all of us girls go through this one phase where we're just like, you know what, fuck everyone, like fuck men, fuck dating, fuck this, fuck that, I'ma just do me. And I'm kind of still in that phase, but like, you can't let the state of the world make your heart cold and make you cynical. Like, you should still, if you're still wanting a relation, it's not even just about relationships, but like, let's just use that as an example. You can't let, a couple men, even if it seems like it's all of them and a lot of them, you can't let that jade you from how you choose to move about the world. Like, you don't want somebody's actions to taint who you are and to alter your personality. Like, nobody should have that much power over you to be able to alter who you are. Like, your heart should still remain as pure as it was before you met them. Like, maybe you have new information and you have a better, filter for riffraff and BS. Like, your basis should not be like mean and nasty to everybody just because you had a couple bad experiences. Like, that's kind of some incel shit, like going on a Batman spree, just everybody hurt my feelings, so now I'm gonna unload the clip on everybody. Like, that's not, we can't do that. Come on. That's not very demurtsy of us ladies. That word is literally going to be stuck in my vocabulary forever, I swear. Number 22, you can always walk away and leave. You're not stuck. Sometimes we feel like we have to hold out certain situations, like certain jobs that are literally making us go crazy. For example, for me, or feeling like we have to do something just because it's the right thing to do. You're always allowed to leave. You're always allowed to walk away. Since you're allowed to always change your mind, like we previously talked about, you are allowed to have new information be presented to you and you choosing to move accordingly with that information. Don't feel like you're stuck or you're pigeonholed into something just because you thought it was the right answer at the time. We need to release the shame of like changing courses or trying a new path. It can be embarrassing to be seen, quote unquote, failing, but it's better to fail and try again and prevail than stay stuck somewhere that is not for you and just wither away in the corner somewhere. No, we're not doing that. You are always allowed to leave, even if it's hard, even if you're literally crying, shaking, throwing up, thinking about it. It's still better than being stuck. Let the fact that you can literally leave on your own accord, and when you don't feel comfortable anymore in a situation, that should empower you. It shouldn't be scary. Number 23, you deserve to be treated well. That darn pesky imposter syndrome, always gets us, making you feel like you don't deserve certain things or you're not good enough for it, but you do. And that's been something in my 20s that I've definitely learned, is that you do deserve to be treated well. You do deserve nice things. You deserve to be around people that truly love you and care about you. And surrounding yourself and putting yourself in positions where you are seen, you are loved, and you are heard is necessary for actually feeling it and believing it. Number 24, being at rest is a revolutionary act. You always feel like you have to do the next best thing, or like you can't sit down because I could be doing this, I could be cleaning that, I could be organizing this, I could get started on that. There's always something we could be doing, but even just being at rest is a revolutionary act. In a capitalistic machine like this country, this world, when you're resting, when you're reclaiming your time and you're not using that towards somebody else's bottom line, that is revolutionary. So don't forget to take some little bouts of rest. I love resting. I used to feel so guilty, feeling like, oh no, I'm just wasting my time. Like I could be doing something else. And like, yeah, while that could be true, like I don't want to. I want to rest. And you should want to rest because it's good for you and it's necessary. So don't forget, resting is revolutionary. They don't want you to rest. They want you to be up, doing this here, there, X, Y, and Z. Nope. Take some rest sometime. Take your power back, girl. Number 25. Stop holding on to other people's feelings and projections. As you're moving through the world, it's easy to fall victim to everybody else's thoughts and just the things that society pushes onto us, certain beauty standards, certain racial preferences, body type preferences, gender, sexuality, all that type of stuff. Depending where you fall on the intersectionality scale, when you're being fed all of this programming and when you're being told what to feel, you can start to carry other people's feelings and projections onto you that may not even be yours. So you're being told oh, only this nose type is the best and everybody else's nose is so ugly. And you're like, wait, but I actually don't feel that way. Why am I being told this? So that's why it's always important to come to your own conclusions with things. And that's why I will always preach that on this podcast, because people will try to make you feel a certain way about yourself. But if you don't believe it to be true, it's not true. It can't be your truth if you don't believe it. No matter how much people try to project oh, people like us can't do things like this, or you will never be able to travel here, you'll never be able to have that job. Whatever people are feeding you that is not yours, release that. Release all that gunk, all of that weight that is not yours. It's not your responsibility. Don't hold on to whatever people have projected. It's not your responsibility. It's not your business. And lastly, number 26. I love me. I know that probably sounds so corny and cliche, but hear me out, okay? I really love me. That's something that I've learned in my 20s is I enjoy my alone time, as I've mentioned. I enjoy the way that I think about things and I enjoy my own thought process. I know I sound like I'm glazing myself right now and I'm sorry about that, but I've truly learned that I love myself. I love my growth. I love my journeys. I love my growing pains. I love the things that I even don't like about myself. Everything about me, I truly love. And I say that because it hasn't always been like that, especially when I was younger. It's been difficult to love all of the parts of me. And I've always tried to look towards other people to receive that type of love that I should have been giving myself. And now I'm in a space in my life at 27 where I truly do love me. And even the things that I don't completely love, I either love myself enough to work on them and improve them, or I love myself enough to just suck it up and love them, and learn to love them. And so that's what I mean when I say I love me. I've learned that I truly do love the direction that I'm going in my life, and I love the path that I'm on. I really do. I feel like everything was worth it, even the moments where I hated life and I hated being in my 20s. I'm so grateful for every little bit of what I went through, because in this moment, this is all worth it. It really is. Even now, I'm still so excited to see, not just for the rest of my 20s, but just with the rest of my growth and my journey will take me. It's exciting to see it play out. It's like a movie. It really is. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast and I hope it resonated with you well. Let me know what you've also picked up and learned on your journey of being in your 20s. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube, and if you're listening to me on Spotify and Apple, definitely download today's episode and rate me 5 stars. All right, I will catch you guys next Tuesday. Have a wonderful week and I will talk to you soon. Bye.